you posing. Just
Hey y'all. Welcome to Tipsy Talk
where's your drink?
Uncut. Oh, right here, right here, right here. Right
I'd be like,
here,
what's
y'all.
that?
This is the Sangarita.
Right? And I'm drinking some gin and tonics.
Mm.
All right, y'all. Let's get into it. So today's topic is the epic love fail. So we're gonna be talking about the relationships that literally changed us, that had us on this path of trying to figure out who we are, and that changed our whole dating lives and our experiences or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Welcome to Tipsy Talk Uncut. Like hot
Welcome,
henny.
y'all.
Okay.
Mm, 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 mm.
um,
So let's
all
see.
right.
Let's see. You gonna go
So
first?
you want me to start? Look at you. I knew you was gonna
You
do that.
start, cause mine is my little shippy. Y'all gonna gotta get used to this. Y'all gonna see this a lot every episode.
Okay. So listen, I don't have a problem starting. I'm gonna start. So I'm like, do I want to tell a tea? But I gotta tell a tea because this is Henny in the teacup, right?
Yes.
All right. So
Hot
I
Henny.
started. So there was this guy.
Mm.
He was helping me out with some like business stuff or whatever. So it started off like just on some strictly business. Like, hey, I need help with this XYZ. Pay him everything like that. It was a business transaction. And one day he was texting me like, "Oh, you thirst trapping on the gram?" And I was like, "Excuse me? Like, where's my stuff that I asked for? You
Hello.
say about if I'm thirst trapping on Instagram, but where's my product though?" Right? So anyway, it was a little bit of that. I was annoyed, so I was kind of like dodging and swerving, right? Because like a person that you're not supposed to, like, we're not gonna go into those waters, right? We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm dodging, swerving. I'm like, no, I'm good. My friend was like, sis, don't do it. Do not do it, right? So the reason why she was telling me don't do it, one, he just had like a baby,
Oh
and
damn. Okay.
he was also married. So this hot henny in a teacup, we gonna tell all the business. We gonna tell all the business, right? So I'm like, do I really want to tell my business? Anyway, so my friend was like, don't do it, don't do it. So I was dodging and swerving. I'm like, nah, it's not happening, right? So then, y'all know when y'all have like those bored moments, like when the moment you bored and you like, fuck, like I'm not talking to nobody,
Mm-hmm.
like nobody is coming over. You watching TV, flicking through the channels, masturbating 20 times a day. Well, tomorrow masturbate. So, you know what I'm saying? You just you trying to like pass time. So anyway, he caught me at the right moment, and one thing led to another, right? So it was just some like, whatever, nothing crazy. And then it like we talked about this on regular Tipsy Talk. You know how like the stages of the nicknames. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like first it was Juicy, right? Then it was
Who
Babe.
who was Juicy? You was calling him Juicy. Who's calling you
Oh
Juicy?
no, he was calling me Juicy.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
he had nicknames, like he had nicknames for me, but in the beginning it was just Juicy, like hey Juicy, da da da, whatever, whatever.
Okay.
Then it started going to Babe, and I was like, you know how you look at your phone like, I was like, oh, I'm Babe
Right,
now.
right.
Oh, okay. So by that time, like we did whatever we did a few times or whatever, not a few times, like a lot of times or whatever. And then it got to the point where like it was too much for me. One, the situation was wrong, right? And then two, it was like, all right, I feel like I'm starting to catch a little bit of feelings. So I was like, you know what? Let me take myself out of the situation because clearly you should not be in the situation. So I was like, let me take myself out. So I took myself out. I was like, hey, I can't do this, whatever, whatever. And he was like, no, like we could still be cool. Like I could still come over, whatever, whatever. And then he was like, nah, because I'm gonna want to be in your face. like, because we had like a connection. So like, you know, like you talking to somebody and you seeing them and they sitting next to you and it's hard because you want to jump their bones every 5 seconds. So it was kind of like that type of like energy, right? That's the type of vibes it was. So I was like, all right, well, I can't do it because I'm not fucking you no more. So like potty done. So that's it. I blocked him, right? I blocked him for a long time. I would say like 6-7 months, right? And in that time frame, y'all know on the iPhone, you could see on the voicemail, you could see when like if the person is blocked, it'll still tell you like blocked messages. And then you'll see like the blocked voice note. So I seen how I guess he was calling and he was ringing it through. He wasn't saying nothing on the voicemail, but it was ringing past. So it was like just dead air in the background. So I was like, all right, he calling me. But I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, right? I'm not going down that route.
Right.
At that time, like, you start recognizing, like, all right, no, I know that this is not what I want. I know I don't want to be number 2. Like, I don't want to do none of that. Like, I have feelings, and I'm pretty sure you have feelings, and we're not talking about it, and it's just gonna be weird. So then I unblocked him, but again, this was like 7-8 months later.
So what made you unblock him?
I don't know. Maybe it was like hope, like maybe that he would hit me up,
okay,
right? But like I said, I was like, all right, it's time to unblock him because I didn't think that maybe it was like a little bit of hope that maybe he hit me up, but then I also didn't think that he was going to hit me up, right? I'm like, all this time passed, he forgot, right? So now I'm at work. This was not last summer, the summer before. Now I'm at work one day and I'm packing up to go meet my mom. And I get a text and it was like, hey, Juicy. And I was like, ah! You know, you'd be hyped. So now the nigga gave me anxiety, right? Because I don't know, he always gave me like this little anxiety, a little bit butterflies in your stomach. You know, when you feel like you gotta go take a shit or something like that. That nervous feeling. So we started talking. So I texted him back. I was like, hey, right? And we ended up, I was leaving work. I ended up staying at work. We was on the phone for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like talking, and he was like explaining himself or whatever.
That kept the call definitely be long.
Right? So this was in the conference room, right? In the conference room, on the phone, standing there like keying.
Mind you, my unpaid double.
Mind you, my mother waiting. I'm like, I'm caught up at work, Mom. No. I wasn't on the clock. No,
that's what I said, an unpaid double.
Right, exactly. So I'm just in the conference room, sitting there on the phone, talking. And then the conversation went well. He was just basically like, you know, it wasn't just about sex for me and blah, 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 whatever. So basically confirmed that he also had feelings as well. So he was like, well, I want to see you tomorrow. And I was like, okay. I said, okay. So he came over, you know, shit happened, whatever. But then it was like literally the same type of shit. It was like, it was just like the same situation. I still felt the same way as far as like, you don't got enough time. You don't got, like, it just wasn't, it still felt like, why did I start talking to you again if nothing is going to change? Right? So he started like FaceTiming me more and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. But then it was to a point I was like, what the bitch? Like, you left for a reason and you're still in it. And it's the same exact fucking reason why you left. So what the fuck are you doing? Guys, I'm trying to not curse so much. I'm going to work on that. But anyway, so one day I was like, we was on the phone because we would be on the phone for like hours at a time. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, not what are we? It was because it wasn't that. It was just like, well, do you feel the same way that I feel? Because I don't know. Like energies, like you're saying one thing, but then like I don't see you that much. The communication is a little bit off, blah, blah, blah. But again, given the situation, I'm not gonna say it again. Y'all need to scroll back if y'all want to hear what I said. Anyway, so he was like, oh well, we shouldn't like we shouldn't talk about that. And I'm like, why not? And he was like, because exactly that face.
Like, excuse
Like
me.
he was like, because it's gonna become complicated. He was like, once you start talking about feelings, the whole dynamic, everything switches, and it's gonna become complicated.
That's true.
And he was 1,000% correct. It became complicated. And he was like, yes, basically he has feelings. He feels exactly the same way that I felt, but it was kind of like, in retrospect, I understood what he was saying because it's like, yes, we both have feelings for each other, but we know what the situation is. So like nothing is gonna change. Like in this moment, like nothing is gonna still be the exact same. Mm-hmm. So now, then I don't know. From there, remember I said the progress of the names. So it went from Juicy to Babe, and then now I'm Baby, right? So now I'm Baby, and now he like, oh, he want to be with me. He want to do this. He want to do that. All types of like promises. We gonna do this. I got this plan, and da 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 da. What is it called? We was talking about Tipsy Talk, the
breadcrumbing.
Like, right? So we had plenty of conversations. Like it was very, very, very like intense. Very intense. Then it was like the height of COVID. And did we go off? We went out. No, we went out for my birthday last year. Anyway, sorry, I don't remember. Exact timeline. But it was just like a whole bunch of that. It was a whole bunch of that. It was a whole bunch of like expressing feelings and all this kind of stuff, but then still not being able to have like that dynamic that I thought that we both wanted. So then we go along. Hey viewer. So then we're going along with it. And then it got just more intense. It got to the point where I was like, you know how like we had this conversation before of like who says I love you first? Like how does it make you feel? Whatever. So one day I was just like, it took everything of me to say it. So I said it, and then he called me, and then he said it back, and I was like, oh, all right,
okay.
So then we was talking on the phone, and then like when we was hanging up, I was like, all right, I'll talk to you later. He was like, no. And I was like, what? And he wanted me to say, like, I love you. And I was like, right. And I was like, okay.
So I didn't want to get into feelings and complicate things. That's a huge complication.
It complicated stuff. So anyway, saying all of that to say, that was over the span of 4 to 5 years. I would say 4.5 years, right? That's a long ass time of not getting your needs met, not having the communication that you want, but then still having feelings for the person and the person having feelings for you. But it's almost like, what is it? Right place, wrong time, or whatever the fuck to say. And it was just a whole bunch of empty promises. I tried to break it off a few times, but then I was so like afraid, like, but like, no,
making the wrong decision.
Almost like I wanted him to cash out in the sense of everything that you promised me. I want you to do that. I want you to do that so I don't feel like I wasted my time. So I think I was kind of holding on to a little bit of hope to be like, all right, he's going to come through. He's going to do what he's supposed to do. But he didn't. And we in 2021. So this was basically 2020. It was a whole fucking struggle. All right. And I wrote on my whiteboard, I was like December 31st, 2021. That's what I wrote. And then every day I was putting a line around it because I'm like, I am not taking this shit into 2021. December 31st, 2020. Because I'm like, I'm not taking this shit into 2021. It's not happening. So we went out for my birthday. He took me out for my birthday. And I just was like drifting away. And I was just like, because I had to like set myself up to get out of that situation. But I can say 2020 was definitely like a very dark year because it was a whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch of like, I did this for so long. How do I get out of it? And then what's the next steps for me? So it was like a whole like growth period, and it's still a growth period now. But it was a lot of crying. Bitch was falling asleep watching fucking tarot videos on YouTube. Like it was just too much. It was like, every day.
Yeah, I remember the tarot. She had me doing it for a second. I'm like, shit, well, let me see what they got to say about
I was sending tarot videos to everybody, and it's like I was watching it and just trying to find the answers. And if one of them said something that I didn't like, I'd be like, all right, no, I gotta watch another one. I was so obsessive. It was to the point that like I was working and on my regular, so we had a work laptop, and I had my regular laptop. I would be playing tarot videos on my regular laptop for the whole day. Like just on the side, just what's the next one while I'm working. Like it was fucking weird. Like I said, a lot of crying, a lot of not eating, a lot of just like laying down and like not knowing. It's like what's next, and almost like I wasted my time. So in this moment, go ahead.
Sorry. So what was like? I know there was a bunch of things that were like, I guess, red flaggish or made you feel like, yo, I can't do this. But what was like one major thing where it was like oh, I have an epiphany, like the turning point, like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, was there anything in particular? Like one thing in particular?
It was it was the way that I felt. It was the feelings, like the watching tarot videos, the crying, mad, fucking random. I remember one day I called out of work and my friend Jasmine, I was like, what you doing? Like, I need to come out the house. And so I went to her house and I ended up like falling asleep. And her sister was like, what's wrong with Keisha? Because like, why is she sleeping? Because I'm usually like very like energetic. I'm playing, I'm dancing around or whatever. And we went to Artichoke Basil to get pizza. And so she was driving me back and like we sitting in the car and I start busting out crying. And she just like hugged me and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, that's weird as fuck. And I'm like, this is not who I am. Like, this is like, we're not doing this. And honestly, I think he called me one day and he was like, babe, like, I want to plan something. I know you're really gonna love it. Blah blah blah. It was like a picnic. He was like, I know a perfect spot. You're gonna plan it. I'm gonna plan a picnic. Da da da. Mind you, he called me mad random. I didn't say anything. So I'm like, okay. So then I was waiting for that picnic, nigga. Where the fuck is the picnic? And the picnic never happened. And I think that was the moment when I realized, like, you can't come through on your promises. You just talking it fucking in. It sounds good, and I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to be number two. I don't deserve to be having like broken promises. Like I don't deserve that. I deserve better than that. So that was my turning point. I was like, I have to cut myself off, and not to say like that the feelings wasn't there, right? But it was like no, but you have to get over those feelings.
Yeah.
That was definitely the relationship that kind of like turned me, and I realized that he was going through whatever he was going through, and I was trying to not be bothersome. I was trying to be like nurturing to him and doing all of those things for him. And in the meanwhile, I was putting my feelings on the back burner. I was putting myself on the back burner because I didn't want to upset him. I didn't want to agitate him because of what the situation was. And I realized, like, bitch, set some fucking boundaries. Get the fuck out of here. So here we are. The highlight that was long as fuck.
Listen, it be like that. These type of topics are really deep and long because it's like it's not a quick story. Like, oh, we dated, we had sex a few times. I was like, fuck out of here because he said something I ain't like. Like, it's never just that simple. It's never just that simple. I'm gonna say I'm like mine is not similar, but I think it's similar in the sense where you try to be so understanding and so supportive of your partner where you end up somewhat neglecting your own feelings and health and self-love and all that shit. So
what happened?
Like mine was, I had my baby a little young. Nah, I had my son at 19. His father was my first love, my first all of that stuff.
You said your son is 19?
I had my son at 19.
Oh, I'm about to say, I keep telling
no, he's at 19.
My bad. Go ahead.
And when I was dating his father at first, it was like, he was a street dude, but with me, he was just like so sweet, so nice. You know what I'm saying? Like the promises here, like he was a gentleman, a good guy, good sense of humor. And I felt like, when I got pregnant, it wasn't playing out in like 19. But when I decided to keep the baby, you know, he was super excited. But once the baby came, things changed. And I mean, so much. I mean, well, during the pregnancy, like there were fights, like not arguments, fights,
What kind
pregnant,
of fights? What kind of
like
fights?
fights, like
Talk about the
fights. I
fight.
remember. I remember.
First
I
of
don't
all,
even know.
hold on. Let's take a moment of silence for these teeth because your teeth is looking good.
Is looking good? Thank you.
Yeah, they looking.
No. So Nikki mentioned that too, because y'all soon find out. I'm a mouth person, but yeah, I remember one day I was pregnant. I don't even know what we had an argument about, but I remember standing on the bed and him like swinging to hit me, and I'm trying to kick him.
While you were pregnant?
Yeah, I don't think I was that. I was very small then, so I don't think I was showing that much, but I definitely was pregnant, and like he definitely swung towards me. I feel like I got like it was so long ago, but what the memory that's running in my head is me standing on the bed trying to kick him. Like, all right, like I'm gonna stand up here while you over there swinging. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to get the advantage over you or whatever. There was that. After I had my son, it was just like downhill from there. I mean, cheating with people on the block, on the building. I mean, in the building, just lying, so much disrespect, so much name calling. He even spit at me before. And yes,
that is like the lowest
super disrespectful. And then I would get a call the next day with him apologizing, with him playing an R&B song and how much he loves me and wants me back, and you know all this other stuff. And I'm like, maybe
what was
he didn't
the song
mean
that
it.
he was playing? What was the song?
So many things. I did you wrong. What was that song from? Pretty Ricky and them, or Pleasure P. We had that. Yeah.
Take me back. Yep.
It was that. The Let's Get Married. He played what's that group? Yeah, Jagged Edge. All types of stuff. Like he was into like if y'all know me, I love me some R&B. Like he would play all that stuff. Yeah. I remember one time he even bought me. So I'm greedy. I used to be greedy and love me like cakes and snacks. We got into a fight.
She ain't used to be greedy. She is greedy, but this
well,
is
just regular food now. I'm not a snack girl anymore. I used to be a snack girl. But he bought me like a whole so greedy to the point where I didn't want no Carvel's ice cream cake. I needed that Baskin Robbins ice cream pound cake. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Nah. He bought me one with my name apologizing and everything and had it in the freezer. And I was so mad I didn't want to eat it. And then one of his sisters ate it. And then I got fucking mad because they ate it even though I didn't want to eat it. But you know, it was a lot of that. I mean, a lot of that constantly. Like every couple of weeks. And
so,
then
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, so it was just so much of it to the point where I just got just fed up and tired. Like I was crying every day. I remember I was playing fucking Inspector Gadget. A bitch would be timing when he was outside, where he should be at the corner. I'm like out the window. Mind you, is a gate. There's bars on the window, and I'm like in the shit like this, trying to catch him at the corner because he said he was gonna be standing at the corner, trying to see who he's standing with. Like it was crazy. I mean, I went through phones. I was mad one day I even put markers on one of his Jordans he just bought. And I'm not even that type of chick, but it was just like, I need him to feel some pain. Like, you doing me so dirty. And then, but you expecting me to be here and ride for you and do all this other shit. And I'm just like losing myself, not gaining no weight, not eating. I'm not even dressing. I'm not even like I'm out here looking like a bum, like to the point where I don't even feel pretty. I remember the last thing was my birthday coming around. Everybody hyped me up to go out. I still was just like, you know, that's when I started to feel insecure. I've never felt insecure until I was in that relationship. I never knew what jealousy was until I was in that relationship. I never had those feelings. Like I never walked around envious of another female or anything like that until I was in that situation, because him not knowing made me feel less than, or me allowing him to make me feel less than. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy. So my birthday came, found a cute outfit, thought it was so cute. My friend's like, oh yes, bitch, you look good. My sisters, his sisters, I call my sisters, my family. So, you know, my sisters hyping up, they coming out with me, we all good. And he's up there like, why are you wearing that? He's starting to argue with me right before we about to go out the house. Oh, you about to go out there to be a hoe. And I'm like, now I'm up here about to go turn up for my birthday. And now I'm crying and in the room convincing me to go out. And I was just like, why am I like his birthday just
manipulation? That's what the fuck that is. That's manipulation.
And you know, I'm what, 20 now, like 20 years old, you know, still young, still trying to keep a family because I have a child with this person. And they keep telling me they love me, even though they constantly are disrespecting me and hurting me. And here I am, just feeling like nothing, dirt. just dirt and allowing it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, for me, I felt like that relationship changed. Well, changed a lot of things. You know,
Mhm.
like I started to be insecure about certain things. Now I'm watching my weight. Now I'm like, oh, I'm too skinny. I don't have this. Now I'm like, I need to get my neighboring clothes and stuff back up. Like I told you, I didn't even know how to dress anymore. After a while, I just was like, I don't even feel like, what's the point of trying to look that he don't think I'm attractive, so I'm probably not attractive. Like, and then nobody's talking to me because they
He
already
was
know who
fucking
he
with
is.
yourself. He was
Yeah,
fucking with your
so
self-esteem.
my self-esteem was at its lowest. I mean, I always provided for my son because I didn't have a choice. But besides that, like I didn't want to go outside. I neglected some of my friends. I spoke to, I was, close to my families, but I didn't want to be around anybody. It was just like, like, do y'all see me? You know what I'm saying? Like, then y'all gonna tell me about myself, and you don't want to hear about yourself. Like, your
Right.
friends are always gonna be one like, bitch, you know better. Why are you here? And you just don't want to hear that. You feel like
You
you're
only
being
deal with that.
judged, and
Yep.
yeah, and then even though we're all like, all of us were going through the same shit, but we're always gonna be that person that give advice to everybody else and not take our own, at
Yep.
least in that moment. And it was just like, so I didn't want to see them. So we'll talk on the phone, but I wouldn't hang out. Like I
Do
wouldn't
you
go
think
out.
that you were depressed?
Huh? I was depressed while I was pregnant, to the point where his mother was like, no, like his mother was with me all the time. Like, nah, no. She was like, you can't do this. I don't do so. Like, like we gotta keep you happy because I don't want you losing that baby. I was depressed for a while, but
And
then I had to save face because I'm like, I'm a mother. My son was just like joyful, just
gotta show
smiling
up. You
and
gotta
handsome.
show
So
up.
yeah, around people, it's just like, at nighttime they knew because I'm crying every night. And back then I used to write poems, songs, everything. Like I had y'all thought Mary had some man-hated songs. If y'all see tomorrow's catalog,
All right, so one episode, let's dive into our journals because I have
yeah,
a journal full of poems and shit from high school, from now. So let's one episode like go through like our old notes and shit like that.
yeah,
But anyway, so I was asking about the depression thing because I feel like in retrospect, I feel like I probably was also like depressed in those moments as well. Cause like I was not eating, I didn't want to eat, I didn't have an appetite. Like I was just crying at the fucking drop of a dime. And you know what kind of helped me through? There was a page. I forgot the name of the page, but it was a girl and she was doing like meditations. And doing meditations every Friday. And I forgot it was called oh something and something. It was like I think it was like a Hawaiian like mantra. And
okay,
like I was working, believe me, because I was working from home. So I was doing all this shit in the house. And it was like, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. And she kept
I like
saying it
that.
over and over. And I was sitting there, when you do the ugly cry, mind you, our bitch is working, and I'm over there like this, crying mad hard with my eyes closed. Because she kept saying it over and over. And it's like you're repeating it over and over, and and it's almost like you saying that to yourself, right? Like, I love you. Like, please forgive me. Like, forgive yourself for the shit that you put yourself, for the shit that you was like taking.
Allowed to, yeah.
Right, exactly. It was like, I love you, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Like apologizing to yourself. That's not what the mantra is, but it just felt like I was talking to me. Like, I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
I allowed you to go through like all of that for you, like staying through that shit and like just dealing with it. Like you weren't worthy of having somebody to truly love you, to truly show up and not keep giving broken promises. And then it was like, what is it? I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And then thank you. So thank you, like kind of like thank you for this experience, right? Because I feel like those experiences, they kind of, I always say like experience, the shit that we go through, it shapes who we are. And I feel like it definitely like it shaped me. And
Yeah.
to you, I feel like it shaped you as well.
Yeah, that was like the first, like, oh, okay. To the point where I feel like my turning point was surprisingly a conversation with his mother. My mother. I call her my mother-in-law. I'm not married, but when I was just like, I don't want to be with him, but I don't know how to stop coming back. And she said, "Because you're not tired." And I'm like, "Bitch, I'm tired. Like the fuck you mean? I'm tired. I'm telling you, I'm fucking tired." She said, "You're not tired." She said, "When you get tired, you'll stop. You're not tired. You're not tired of it." And it didn't, I was just like, is she taking at that time? Like once again, I'm young, so I'm like, she taking like, is this supposed to be advice or she taking a sense? Like, what does that mean? Does she not want me to leave the fit? Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
Until a bitch got tired. Bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like a bitch
Right.
got tired to the point where it was nothing to say to do. I was not coming back. So
Yeah.
there was no song. There was no snack. There was nothing he could say or do. Listen, he used to bring them snacks. He knew me for a little while until I stopped. I was like, you ain't about to bribe me with no fucking food. It take more than that. Nah.
So like during those times, right? Like you said that you were writing and stuff like that, and I think like that's something that also helped me. Like I would journal.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Yep, I would journal, and look, we might come out with a fucking journal, y'all. I'd be like, we always got something up our sleeve.
I'm like, leave in the comments. I want to see y'all.
But like in the journal, I will write, I feel, and then it was like, I want to feel, I'm letting go of, and then it was more stuff, but it was just basically like this is how I feel. I woke up and I feel this way, but I don't want to feel like that. This is how I want to feel. And then I'm like, I think it was like I had like the meditation cards that she was pulling from. They were like, it's kind of like meditation affirmation cards or whatever.
Okay.
And I will pull a card, and then I will write how I felt about the card. And then now, like when I look at the book, and it's almost like you can see your growth process, right? Because I remember the days I'm like, I feel like this, I feel like shit, like I don't feel good enough, I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And then you start flipping the pages and you move forward, and then it's like, oh, well, today I'm happy, like, you get what I'm saying, like today I'm pushing through, whatever. So you get to see a progress. So I'm happy that I did that. When I flip back, it's like the memories come back, and then I look at the pictures in my Snapchat or on my phone, and I'm like, I know exactly how I felt that day. Like I was sad, I was hurt, I was this, I was that. And then you look at another picture, and then I'm like, oh no, like that day I was like, fuck it. Like, because I feel like last year, like I got like braids for the first time. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like I was getting, like weave, like, you get what I'm saying? And I started.
She was feeling herself, y'all.
You get what I'm saying? Because it's like you so stuck, you be so stuck in a run, and you so stuck in like
you start taking care of yourself.
You are, right? And then it's like, no, bitch, like it's time to fucking level up. Get the fuck out of here. This nigga's a clown. These niggas are clowns. Okay. It was the epic fucking love fail. The epic love fail. Okay.
See, for me, like, so Nikki did her journaling. I didn't journal. I wrote poems and songs of like exactly how I'm feeling or what you shouldn't do. So like I used to let any fucking song come on, that beat stayed in my head, and I was writing.
I know you remember a piece of something.
I don't. I feel like I was writing one every day. So like I'm trying to think, like, it's because it's been a minute. I be like, I
remember one that
it's been 13 years.
I remember one that I wrote. I used to work at TSA back in the day, and I remember I was sitting on the exit, but this wasn't this person that I'm talking about. It was another person, and I wrote a poem because, like, even though he made me feel some type of way, and I feel like the situations are similar, I feel like this past experience was more intense. But he also, first of all, they both was fucking Leos. So now I don't want to talk to no Leos. I feel like those was the only two people that I can say in retrospect that I was like really like in love with. But I remember one of the poems. But I'm gonna hold it so that we could talk about it in another episode.
Yeah.
Come through with like our poems, our little journals.
Yeah, we'll share one on like
right.
Yeah.
I remember that shit from like I just wrote it yesterday. Really? I can say it. Every single line right now.
When I tell you, I'll write like 2 or 3 in one day. You know what I'm saying? Because like in a moment, like that's how I released it. Like I would probably only tear up when I was writing. I could be listening because people like, you always listen to man hating songs. You just want to be sad. But I'm like hearing, well, Mary's my favorite artist, but hearing Mary or like Monica and them and Keisha Cole came out at the time and all that stuff. Like that music, it didn't make me sad though. It was just like, I like to hear, like, you know, they say that I play music for people that are going through the same thing. Because I can relate to somebody, it felt better. But when I was expressing the way I felt on paper, that made me tear. So I wasn't doing too much boohoo crying, but definitely tears was dropping out as I'm writing and thinking like what I'm going to put down next on the paper. But listening to the music, like that shit made me feel good, which
I
is
have a
weird.
question. What would you, in retrospect, right? What would you have done differently? Like, given like the time span that you was going through, whatever you was going through, what's one thing that you maybe have been like, you know what? I would have did that different. I wouldn't have moved this way. I wouldn't have did this. I wouldn't have did that.
I think, and this is just through all my relationships. I don't think I was ever vocal enough, and I think I would have definitely been more vocal and put myself first. And people say in relationship you shouldn't put yourself first. Is kind of, it sounds like a selfish thing because I've
No.
seen that recently. But I'm like, no, put myself first in the sense of loving me. I have to love me more than I love you.
Yep.
And I feel like I was loving them more
That's
than I love
another
myself.
conversation.
I mentioned it before, if y'all tune into our other show, Tipsy Talk, that I was a people pleaser. And I'm working on it. It's just a little bit there left. It's almost gone. It's almost gone.
I think that you still are in some
Yeah,
aspects.
because it's naturally who I am. Like, I kind of want people, I always want people to feel comfortable, but to an extent, I need to do it to an extent, and I'm learning how to do it to an extent. So it's a, trial and everything, but it was putting myself first and knowing when to speak up.
Yeah.
I was just always afraid, like, when I express myself because I deeply feel about something, it's gonna make them feel some type of way. And then I'm like, I'm trying to avoid confrontation. But it's like, did they care when they hurt you? How many times? Bitch, say what you gotta say. So
you said you want to keep your nails down. No, I'm just playing.
Right. Y'all think show y'all her shit probably done. I was about to tell her to show her, but her shit probably done today.
No.
But yeah. What would you say?
I think it was kind of the same. I was putting the way that I felt, my feelings, my whatever it was. I was putting me on a back burner because I didn't want to burden him. I didn't want him to think I was being bothersome, because I try to pride myself on being not a nonchalant person, but being like, you know what, bitch, it is what it is,
Yeah.
And for me to feel like I'm always coming at somebody with something complaint or the way that I feel like, I'm like, am I overbearing? Like, am I over, like, it was just, I didn't want to be seen as being needy or being too much.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a lot of things I kept to myself. I didn't say it until I started to get upset. And then even when I started to get like to my max, I was still trying to think about the words and write the words out properly and draft messages before I sent it and reread it 15 times, because I didn't want to offend him. I didn't want to make him feel away, but at the same time, he was making me feel away. I feel like you're about to say something.
Oh no, yeah, I was gonna say I remember going through that.
Go ahead.
No, I remember Nikki sharing that with me, and like I told you, I'm guilty of the same exact thing. But when you see
up towards your mouth.
And I'm like, I'm actually guilty of the same thing. So me seeing her go through that, and she's sharing it, I'm like, no, you gotta tell him. But she's like, but he's going. I'm like, bitch, fuck him. Even though I'm guilty of doing the same exact thing. So like I said earlier, it's so much easier to give your friends and people advice on what to do when you're not doing it. But while she was going through it, I was like, this is probably what the fuck I was looking like to everybody else. And I was like, I can't even.
Hey, what that mean?
No, in a sense where you giving.
What you talking about?
No, and I'm saying in the sense of like you giving somebody advice, because I was like, she could have definitely gave him a piece of her mind, but she was being very considerate of the situation. And I'm like, fuck his situation. Like, you over here doing whatever. And she's like, but then, and I'm sitting there getting annoyed because she don't want to do it. But I'm like, bitch, you be doing the same shit. So of course I can't say anything because it's her journey. And I kept telling myself she's not tired.
Yeah.
And because because it's real, because I was not tired. Yeah. Even my last situation, a bitch wasn't tired until it was too late. You know what I'm saying? So but that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? We say we tired, but it's like, you don't feel tired. So I was like, that I swear that little piece of information for everybody. Like, you're not tired. When you tired, it's gonna stop. You still have room. You got room for the bullshit.
That's gonna be an episode name. Look, right? You not tired.
Bitch, you not tired. I'm like, bitch, you not tired.
Oh, I like that.
But I was like, no.
Overall, what did you learn? What did you learn?
I learned to love myself. I think I've definitely lost myself in several situations, and I became depressed. And I think a lot of and neglected myself. And I had to relearn how to love myself. Like I didn't even know what I liked anymore, who I was. You know how you put up a facade for everybody,
Yep.
but I'm like, I didn't know who Samara was. I'm still finding me. Like I'm no there, but I'm still finding me. I'm still learning. Like, okay, this you like this, you like that. Like I'm still, you know what I'm saying? So I learned like to love myself. And you sit there and be like, I love myself. I would never kill myself, never do this. But like, bitch, I mean, you love yourself. Like I had to learn to love myself. And it's you know, it feels like, not saying embarrassing to say, but it does. It's like, who don't love themselves? But it happens. Was not loving myself in those situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I took from all of that. I'm learning, I'm growing. What would you say?
I think that you are. I would say like my takeaways or my whatever is that I need to be more vocal because I'm overall a very like laid back person. I try to not let things bother me. What you said?
I said she vocal, y'all.
No, I'm talking about with guys.
No,
like,
I know. That's why I was like,
right. I'd be like, other than that, if you know me, you know me. I got right.
I know her, but yeah, with guys, yeah.
With like when in situation with guys, like I've learned to one be more vocal. I'm learning to leave. Like don't and I'm naturally a very empathetic person. And I try to see every situation from my point of view and from the person's point of view. So when I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruffle feathers, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, because I know that this person is going through XYZ and that's going to be a burden to them. I don't give a fuck about what's burden to you. If I feel some type of way, if I have something to say, like to speak up on that.
Yeah.
Also like setting boundaries, speaking up, and learning to leave when you are supposed to
Yes.
leave.
Oh Lord, preach.
Dragging like, because I honestly that situation I dragged it out. Like I said, that was like 4.5, 5 years.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time. Like people get married after 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like that is a long ass time to be feeling inadequate for somebody to not show up how you need them to show up, and then just hearing all of the empty promises and oh no babe, I'm gonna do this, no babe, it's gonna be better, no babe, give me 6 more months, give me till the end of the summer. That's what he was saying last year. Give me till the end of the summer. No, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to do that, we gonna fucking go on. And it was the picnic. When you asked me earlier, I'm not gonna lie, it was a picnic because anybody knows me, I love a fucking picnic. Okay, I would go to a picnic by myself. I got a fucking sandwich. I got wine. I got flowers. Yeah. I got like, listen, bitch, I got the whole fucking setup. Okay. So the picnic, I think, honestly, was like, wow.
The turning point. Like,
I didn't tell you to do anything. You called me. Anyway, so again,
like flashback shit.
Right. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I be wanting to cry. Sometimes, like when I think about it, I'm like, yo, that shit is
allow that. Yeah.
Right, like I be like right now, like because a lot of people think like, oh, she this, she that, but half the time I be about to bust out in tears. But I'm like, bitch, this is not the time. Save that for yourself. Like you understand what I'm saying? So like,
I know.
Setting boundaries, speaking up, putting myself first, and knowing when to leave. I'd be like, bitch, I got
hello.
A lot of mercy.
I'm like exactly right.
Bitch, we like, wait.
We'll share the henny with y'all the next show. Hopefully, we got it together. We can share the henny.
Wait. All right, y'all. This is Tipsy Talk Uncut. Today we talked about the epic love feel, the shit that we went through that made us who we are today, that got us on this whole love, sex, relationships, dating type of journey.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have those people that bring out the worst in us. That kind of puts us into this dark phase and in this dark moment and a moment of depression, because let's call it what it is. Let's call it what the fuck it is, because we just wasn't eating, we wasn't dressing, we was crying, fucking watching tarot videos. Like what? We all have those dark moments, right? But I feel like those dark moments lead us into brighter days. And if we didn't go through those situations, we wouldn't be who we are today. We wouldn't know what we like. We wouldn't know what we don't like. We wouldn't know what we should take, what we shouldn't take. Like it kind of It's like God, like, no, bitch, you got to go through that.
Yeah,
Go
learn
through
it.
that. You can level the fuck up. And here
Like
we
they
are.
said, sometime L stand for lessons. Okay, so
What?
definitely taught us a few lessons, and
All right.
there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely a student of the Lord. No, sorry. But I'm not laughing about it for y'all take this and run with it. Next thing you know, 10 years from now, they like, she said she I'm spiritual, okay, y'all. But nah. But we definitely, learned some lessons and we grew from it. And that's the whole point of, growing up, being mature, learning yourself and who you are, to take every experience as a lesson as and grow from it. So you become a better person. So, we're human, we're working on it. And thank y'all for fucking up, because we some bomb boss ass.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, guys, Tipsy Talk Uncut, like hot fucking henny in a teacup. We bringing all the tea. We spreading all of our fucking business. All right. I'm Nikki B.
And I'm Slugs. We're gonna see y'all next week.
Uh-oh,
a nigga dance.
You ready? All right, y'all. Hey, go back. Wait, go back. You ain't want to lean back with it? Hey.
Like, nah.
All right, whole belly out the door.
Listen, if you want all of this, she come with that little meat. Nah. We see y'all next week, y'all. Appreciate y'all. If y'all like this, like, comment, subscribe, put that notification bell on.
And share.
Please.
Tell your friends
share.
to watch Uncut.
Later.
All right, y'all. Peace out.